Have you ever noticed that your worries seem to get louder the moment the lights go out? During the day, you might feel perfectly fine, but as night arrives, your mind suddenly begins replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, and questioning your future. Problems that seemed small only a few hours ago can suddenly feel impossible to ignore. Why does this happen? Is your anxiety actually getting worse, or is your brain simply working differently at night? The first reason is surprisingly simple. During the day, your brain is constantly distracted. You are working, talking to people, checking your phone, making decisions, and responding to everything happening around you. Your attention is focused outward. But when night comes and everything becomes quiet, those distractions disappear. Your attention turns inward. Thoughts that were hiding in the background all day finally get a chance to speak. The worries were not created at night. They were simply waiting for silence. Psychologists often compare attention to a spotlight. During the day, that spotlight shines on the outside world. At night, it shines inside your own mind. Suddenly, every unfinished task, unanswered message, awkward conversation, and uncertain future becomes difficult to ignore. But there is another reason your mind becomes more anxious after dark. Your brain is naturally designed to detect danger. This survival system helped our ancestors stay alive by constantly scanning their surroundings for threats. The problem is that your brain does not always know the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. When your environment becomes quiet, your brain begins searching for problems to solve. A simple thought like, "Did I make a mistake today?" can quickly become, "What if I ruined everything?" One small worry becomes 10, and before you realize it, your heart is racing over situations that have not even happened. Another hidden factor is emotional backlog. Throughout the day, you experience stress, disappointment, frustration, and pressure. But because you are busy, your brain postpones dealing with those emotions. Nighttime may be the first moment your mind has enough space to process everything it has been carrying. Imagine throwing papers onto your desk throughout the entire day without organizing them. You remain busy, so you barely notice the growing mess. But when the day ends and you finally sit down, you suddenly realize how much has accumulated. Your thoughts can work in exactly the same way. Your body also plays an important role. By nighttime, you are mentally tired. Fatigue makes it harder for your brain to challenge irrational thoughts. That is why fears that seem unrealistic during the afternoon can feel completely believable at midnight. Psychologists call this emotional reasoning. Instead of asking whether a thought is true, your brain assumes it must be true, simply because it feels real. Then comes one of anxiety's biggest traps: rumination. Rumination happens when your mind repeats the same thoughts over and over again without finding a solution. You replay conversations. You imagine different outcomes. You wonder what you should have said instead. It feels like problem solving, but it rarely solves anything. Instead, every repetition convinces your brain that the problem must be extremely important. Modern technology can make this pattern even worse. Many people spend the final hour before bed scrolling through social media, reading negative news, or watching emotionally intense videos. Their brain never gets an opportunity to slow down naturally. Then, the moment the phone is put away, all that stimulation is replaced by silence, and your own thoughts rush in to fill the empty space. This is why psychologists recommend creating a calming bedtime routine. Reading a book, writing down your thoughts, practicing slow breathing, or simply staying away from screens before bed can help your brain leave survival mode and prepare for rest. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: just because your thoughts become louder at night does not mean your problems have become bigger. The silence simply makes them easier to hear. The next time anxiety keeps you awake, ask yourself one question: would this thought feel just as serious tomorrow afternoon? Very often, the answer is no. Understanding this pattern will not make every anxious thought disappear overnight, but it can remind you that your nighttime mind is not always the most reliable narrator of reality. Sometimes, the greatest peace comes not from eliminating every worry, but from realizing that your brain sounds very different when the world goes quiet. If you enjoyed this video and want to understand more hidden patterns of the human mind, subscribe for more psychology insights every week.